Starting off with number 10, we have the Pimax Experience. Now, it was hard to rank any of the headsets that are unreally made for consumers because not really designed to be fun or practical. They're just research projects. But there are still some things that make the Pimax Experience worse than other headsets. Coming in at $13,000, it's the most expensive consumer-level headset on this list, and that's without the controllers. This makes it the worst headset for consumers, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but quickly becomes an issue when you realize how awkward it is to do that for an extended period of time. It had decent specs, an unknown price, and HP's backing behind it. But when it did come out, it fell short of expectations. And with all the great headsets coming out recently, the Reverb G2 has definitely taken a back seat. It used to be a solid mid-tier headset, but now it's definitely fallen into our bottom tier, such as built-in headphones and hand tracking. And unlike the Reverb G2, it hasn't gotten any price drop since its initial release. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people hate it. And it has been slowly losing market share since the Quest Pro came out. It's also one of the least comfortable headsets I've ever worn, and it absolutely destroys your nose if you wear glasses. It's also very comfortable, and it allows for eye tracking. It's just really overpriced, and with the recent release of the Quest Pro, which has similar features to the Focus 3 for a much cheaper price, the Focus 3 is really worth it. Now, I've even seen a lot of people say that it's worth buying used for $100. But even then, I do think it is worth it, and it is one of the best headsets I've ever worn. It has an amazing field of view, high resolution, and high refresh rate. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions about why this is so high on the list, considering that it's such a new headset, but it deserves to be here. It's just incredibly expensive. If it was $2,000, I would be absolutely thrilled. But unfortunately, it's not. Sure, it's overpriced at $3,500, but it has a lot of unique features such as eyesight, pass-through, and live text. It's only $1,500, which is pretty cheap for a high-end headset. With the release of the Quest Pro, Meta has made a lot of new features available to developers, which means we're likely going to see a lot more innovative games and experiences in the near future. The Reality 12K is one of the most exciting headsets of 2025. It has incredible specs, and it's the first headset to allow for foveated rendering. Now, there's one major downside to the Reality 12K. It's $1,900, which is a lot of money. It has good specs, great tracking, and it's one of the most comfortable headsets I've ever worn. There are so many great headsets at that price point, and even if none of those interest you, the Quest 2 is probably going to be discontinued very soon. The Reality 12K is truly a showcase of what VR is capable of, and it's a sign of things to come in the next few years. Me personally, I'm kind of on the fence about it. On one side, it's really great. It's the same price as the VF Pro 2, but it's a wireless standalone headset. It has the same field of view, resolution, and refresh rate as the VF Pro 2. But it comes with 2 controllers. It also has really good graphics and the ability to play PC VR games. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's relatively cheap at $300, and it gives access to a lot of great games and experiences. Unfortunately, it's really overpriced at $800 for the headset alone, and $300 for the controllers. Luckily, the controllers are unnecessary to have a good time with the headset, but it's still pretty overpriced. It's portable, it doesn't require any cables, and it has decent specs. So overall, it's a pretty mediocre headset, despite having some pretty good specs. Well, it's because the company behind it went bankrupt. So unfortunately, the Varjo Aero is going to be discontinued soon, and support for it is going to run out eventually. For starters, the price wasn't unknown anymore. It was actually $600, which is pretty high for a headset back then. And it seemed like people were willing to pay that price. It also lacks hand tracking and room scale because of the low tracking accuracy. So overall, the Nariel Dream is a pretty mediocre headset, but rather an enterprise-level headset. But it can be bought by anyone for $1,300. The reason why I put it above the Quest 2 is because it's a much better product. Even though it's very interesting, it has a pretty bad visual quality compared to other headsets that are made for research. The resolution is much lower, only being 1440 by 1600 per eye. And if you're someone who is sensitive to screen door effect, this will absolutely make you nauseous. There are also other problems, such as an extremely narrow field of view an extremely heavy weight, terrible controllers and tracking, and an uncomfortable fit. However, the main problem with this headset is its price tag. Moving on, we have the Neural Dream. The Neural Dream costs half as much as the Pimax Experience, but offers nearly half as much value. It does feature a pretty high resolution, even higher than the Pimax Experience, but it has one of the widest fields of view I've ever seen, which means that the screen door effect is much more pronounced. You can easily make out the pixels of the display. Another huge issue is its lack of good tracking. The only way to use the controllers is by holding them sideways next up. We have the HP Reverb G2. When the Reverb G2 came out, it was pretty highly anticipated. But after many software updates and multiple price drops, the Reverb G2 isn't that attractive anymore. Moving on, we have the Endgame Gear VR750. Now this headset is really confusing because it's essentially the same price as the HP Reverb G2, but with better specs across the board. It has a wider field of view, higher resolution, and it even allows for room-scale tracking with its external tracking cameras. But it's just an Oculus Rift. Its design looks extremely outdated, and it lacks a lot of features that come standard with other headsets. Next up, we have the Oculus Quest 2. The Quest 2 is a pretty controversial headset, but on the other hand, it's really bad. It's not very well built, doesn't have the best specs. Next up, we have the HTC Vive Focus 3. Now this headset is really a consumer-level headset. It has good specs, a much better build quality, and it focuses more on productivity than gaming. Next up, we have the Apple Vision Pro. It's also one of the most immersive headsets I've ever worn thanks to its absolutely insane field of view. Now moving on, we have the HTC Vive Pro 2. The Vive Pro 2 has been out for almost 2 years now. It also has built-in headphones and face and eye tracking. Next up, we have the Vario Aero. The Vario Aero is an interesting case. Wait a minute. If the Vario Aero has the same specs as the Vive Pro 2, and it's the same price, why is it so low on this list? And now we have the Meta Quest Pro. The Quest Pro is one of the best headsets of 2025. It also has face and eye tracking, and it opens the door for full-body tracking. And finally, we have the Pimax Reality 12K. But considering the fact that it has better specs than every single headset on this list, I think it's worth it. Thanks for watching. Push the bell icon to get the next update.